So we seem to have a disturbing practice going on in our state. Some may actually consider it a little bit of a sleight of hand, where taxes and fees are collected for one purpose and then diverted to other purposes. The 911 system definitely comes to mind. It's been getting a lot of attention as far as money being diverted. Another one we just heard last week was the 5 cents per barrel that we collect on oil coming into Rhode Island. That money actually was diverted. We heard that last week. So the same type of idea. So 8044 basically seeks to bring a small amount of justice to another diversion of funds. And what it is that all water carriers in Rhode Island are required by law to charge their ratepayers a surcharge, nearly 3 cents per 100 gallons. And this money is supposed to go into a water quality protection fund. Unfortunately, a staggering 57% of it is diverted into the general fund. Let's see. So basically, it has nothing to do with water protection at all. The town of Scituate, which I've resided in for 50 years, has very unique challenges with having nearly 50% of our land owned by the Providence Water. And basically, everything that we do with our first responders or our DPW costs us money. We have this reservoir plopped right in the middle of our town, and which we love. I mean, we've been taking care of it for over 100 years, and we have actually been the true protectors of the water. And if anybody should get water quality protection, a little bit should come to Scituate. And all I'm asking for in this bill is basically that 5% of what Providence Water puts into this supposed clean water protection fund, the part that gets diverted into the general fund, 5% of that basically amounts to a very, very modest 72,000, just under 72,000, to be dispersed between 4 volunteer fire departments and the police department and DPW. So I think there's a couple witnesses that probably could shed more light on Scituate. And
yeah, we do have 2 witnesses, Alan Durano, right, and David Campbell. Again, if I butchered your name, for the record, once you get here, just correct me. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, and thank you very much. I really have very little to add tonight, but I'm here in support of Representative Quattrocchi's bill. As a former town councilman in Scituate, I can tell you it's not just, we love the reservoir. It's a great asset, not only to Scituate, but the whole state. But if you look at a map, the reservoir sits plumb in the middle of the town. And any of the activity that occurs in the town is in each of the corners. And as was alluded to, we have the 4 fire departments, the rescue trucks, everything. It just, there's no way across. Well, actually, we need a nice bridge like Newport has, but no tolls.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, after listening to some of the problems, like Smithfield tonight, you feel it's a small amount of money, but we feel that would make a big difference to the town of Scituate and its 10,400 inhabitants. So with that, thank you. If you just please consider that bill.
Thank you very much for your testimony, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Thank you very much for taking this time to listen to my testimony. My name is Alan P. Duran. I'm a taxpayer in the town of Scituate, and I'm also a resident of the town of Scituate. And I must say that the Scituate Reservoir encompasses a lot of land. They have about 40% of our land in the town. And it's total about 23.1 square miles of land that they own out of our town. And like Dave alluded to, the land is like really kind of spread out. So we don't really have what you would say an economic development engine in the town of Scituate, as we don't have the property to develop any kind of, say, big box store or a retail strip mall or mixed-use parcel of land. So we depend on taxpayer dollars to fund our budget and also to support the police and fire and also the DPW. So I believe I rise in support of this legislation. I think that we could use the $72,000. We could probably buy a piece of life-saving equipment for one of the fire stations, because I know they always need something new. Technology today is always on the forefront, and we can't stay ahead of it enough. So I'm sure that the next new jaws of life will be probably remote control and easier to operate. But I'd just like to say that the money's there, and it goes into the general fund. And like Rep. Quattrocchi alluded to, so many dollars are going into the general fund these days from agencies that really, really need it to operate. I think this would be money well spent to the town of Scituate. I know the town of Scituate can use every dime. The Province Water Supply Board only pays about $6.2 million in taxes on our $36 million budget. So you can see that it's just over 2% that they pay in taxes. So I think that $72,000 is not asking for a lot of money that we really, really need. We're not like Smithfield with 100 and some acres that we want to develop and bring in some economic development. It's hard for us to do that. Like I said, if anybody's in the Shark Tank, we are at 40% of the land that they own. So if you think about that, you can see where we could use all the help we can get, and hopefully the committee will pass this legislation on to the House floor, and hopefully we get a favorable vote for the town of Scituate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Any questions of the witnesses that are there now, please? If not, thank you very much for your patience, both of you, and we'll certainly consider it. Thank you very much. That then would end the hearing on Bill 8044.